Hi there, my name is Ewan Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Remembering Love. Today we're going to be looking at the topic of recovering from childhood trauma fatigue, or self-help fatigue, or working on yourself fatigue. And what I mean by that is the tiredness and kind of disheartenedness, if there's such a word, or feeling of being disheartened from feeling like the work you're doing on yourself never ends, and the fatigue that can elicit. I said on the channel that I'd like to share with you the things I've come to understand, the things I've known, the things that have helped me, but I'd also like to share with you some of the things I'm struggling with, because I think that's also instructive and can be supportive. Last week, I've just been really tired, really fed up, and really just like I'm running kind of on empty. Not a kind of I need a good night's rest type of tired. It's more of an existential sense of here I am, like I'm still struggling, I'm still dealing with my issues, and I have been for a long time. And look, I've come a long way. I've improved a lot, and there's a lot of things that are vastly different in my life. But at the same time, it feels like that onion, there's never an end to my issues. They may get more subtle or more nuanced, but at the same time, I'm still here battling to be somewhere else. And that really can feel tiring. And I think it's really caught up to me in the last week or so. What happens is, it ends up creating this dilemma, because I think a lot of people that have come from backgrounds of trauma have this issue of feeling like, I need to work on myself, but working on myself is tiring and I can't let it go, but I don't want to keep battling. Now, a few years ago, I had a blog on politics and climate change and social justice. I did it with a friend of mine, Tim. He might be watching. Hello, Tim. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. We wrote about US foreign policy and all the things we had a problem with, and I did it for quite a few years. But there was a certain point I got to it where I just felt really fed up and tired of just writing about all the things that are wrong with the world. And it's tiring just to see so many people being sucked into so many different things, etc., etc. But I had the luxury at some point of saying, I don't want to do that anymore. The cost of that blog isn't worth the value that I feel like I'm getting from it, or the value I'm creating isn't worth the cost that it is for me. So at some point, I'll put a link to the blog. You can still go on there. There's articles from a few years ago. Just stopped doing it. The problem with shame and anxiety and these issues we kind of inherit or imbue during our childhood, I don't have the luxury of just waking up and saying, I'm not going to feel anxious today, or I'm not going to have toxic shame anymore, or all that abuse or all that stuff that happened, it's not going to bother me today. So on one level, I don't get to choose whether I work on these things. I'm either denying them or numbing them, or I'm working on them. But I don't get to opt out of this. But at the same time, battling against them all the time, or feeling like I'm in this constant struggle between where I am and where I should be, is also tiring. And that's what I've been really feeling the last week, just this exhaustion, I'm done, I'm done, but I'm not done, obviously, because you still got to get up, you still got to function, you still got to do things. And what I've discovered over the last week is that what happens when you do run out of energy? What happens when the tank is on empty, but these issues are still there? It's a weird kind of phenomena, because what I've found is that maybe just by the sheer tiredness, that I just feel like I don't have the energy to struggle anymore against where I am. A funny thing kind of happened, that I felt a lightness or a weightlessness and an energy emerge out of that, just the acceptance that I'm tired, I'm disheartened, I'm somewhat fed up, and that's okay. Rather than I shouldn't be tired, I shouldn't be this, I shouldn't be that, and this kind of push to be somewhere else. Just the sheer acceptance that this is where I am, and it's okay to be there. I don't need to struggle against my struggle. I don't need to struggle against my tiredness. Discharge some of it And it's a funny phenomena to feel like we can just let go and we don't have to struggle. And it's hard because for most of us who've come out of traumatic environments or got out of addictions or cut ties with a narcissist or whatever it may be, we've worked very hard to create that space. We've worked very hard to get to a better place, even if it's just marginally better. And there can be this fear that if I let go of that struggle, if I stop cracking the whip of self-love and this and that, then I am going to descend back into that dysfunction. It is just going to suck me back in a really bad way, and I need to keep pushing. And the idea of surrendering, the idea of just accepting I am where I am and I don't have to struggle, it's difficult because it feels very counterintuitive against a lot of what we've been driven to. And it also goes against this very intense toxic shame that a lot of people who've had childhood trauma feel, which is there's something wrong with me, that we internalize our bad experiences as being, it's not this situation is bad, it's like I'm bad, I'm inherently wrong. And that wrongness follows us. So we're always trying to amend or fix or shift or change because we are fundamentally wrong and we're trying to get right. It's just impossible. It's just that part of us that feels that will never be satisfied and never be at home. We have to find a sense of wholeness that exists outside of that, because that voice of shame will it can never be satisfied. It just has to be included on one level. It's a strange kind of thing to feel this fatigue and just to start feeling more accepting of it. I wouldn't say welcoming of it, but just to say, well, here I am, I feel this way, and I can surrender to where I am without fear of being sucked back into a quicksand of dysfunction, or without fear of that I'm going to be stuck forever. I think that's the other thing, that if I stop struggling, then I'm never going to move forward. What I've felt over the last few days, that as I've just been more accepting of it and more, giving it more surrender on one level, that serenity that I'm sort of desperately trying to get to all the time suddenly arises from more of a natural place. The struggle kind of dissipates or discharges. There's an energy there, and some of that tiredness feels less than it was. And even if it doesn't, or even if I still feel it, I feel more at peace with it, that it's an okayness. It's okay to be tired. Because this is hard work. Doing this work is hard to disassociate, to numb out, to check out. It's the easy path. Maybe not in the long run, but in the short term. And we live in a culture that's so encouraging and supportive of switching off. To choose a path of forbearance, to choose a path of healing, it's definitely the harder path, and it takes energy. And it's okay for any of us at certain points in that journey to feel tired and to feel worn out, because this is the cross we've taken. We've made this decision that growing and being true to ourselves is at the heart of our lives. And there are costs involved in that. And I feel, when I look at it from that perspective, that if being tired at times and feeling fed up at times is the cost of this path, then I'll take that cost. It doesn't get rid of the tiredness, but it puts into a wider, more loving context that is easier for me to kind of accept and not struggle with. So if you're feeling that fatigue, if some of this makes sense to you, my advice is, try relax into it in a funny kind of way. And it definitely has helped me the last couple of days. And I do understand it's not easy. It is a difficult thing to kind of get a sense of. And it's something I have to keep coming back to on one level. But it's a nice feeling to feel like I don't have to struggle against myself. I don't have to struggle against my struggle. And to feel that and to know that it's nice. It's a good feeling. So look, I hope this has made sense and has helped you, and it fits in and supports you. If you've liked this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for coming, thanks for watching, and take care of yourself. Thank you.